Yes, guys, welcome back to episode 3 of rescoring controversial decisions, mainly in the UFC, but we might branch out later on in the series. Episode 1, John Jones versus Dominic Reyes. Episode 2, GSP versus Johnny Hendricks. We've got the first 3-round fight now on the series between Paddy Pimblett and Jared Gordon. Now, bit of context going into this one. This took place on December the 10th, 2022 in Vegas. Paddy Pimblett was coming off a 3 straight performance of the night winning performances. Luigi Venderami, Kazula Vargas, Jordan Levitt, and now we're facing Jared Gordon. Gordon, on the other hand, was coming off just a single win, but it was a good win against Leonardo Santos, pretty dominant win earlier on that year. This is a difficult one for me to do because I think it's for me it's such an obvious poor decision. Again, for context, Paddy Pimblett won the fight by unanimous decision, 29-28 on all 3 scorecards from Ron McCarthy, Chris Lee, and Doug Crosby. As always, guys, I'm going to break down the fight round by round. We're going to go through it, and I'm going to give you who I thought won the fight. But a little bit of a spoiler, as you probably guessed, the wrong guy got his hand raised on the night. So, round 1, Pimblett starts on the front foot, throwing a lot, but landing very little. He likes to throw the teep kick up the middle. He has his hands down quite low, but he doesn't actually land an awful lot. Gordon lands a big left hook that sinks Paddy Pimblett backwards and does so again a few exchanges later on. So Gordon landed the 2 biggest shots. And let's remember, we're scoring the fight based on damage first. About 2 minutes in, Jared Gordon lands a nice step through left, and Paddy Pimblett doesn't really have any answer for it. A big exchange between the 2 guys where Gordon, lands the biggest, most effective shot, knocking Pimblett off balance with a right. Paddy did land in that exchange, but the bigger, more eye-catching, more damaging shots were landed by Jared Gordon. It's a good combo later on by Paddy Pimblett, finished off with an uppercut, and a hard low kick. For me, low kicks aren't scored enough; they're damaging shots. There's a decent flying switch kick in there by Paddy Pimblett, but Gordon manages to land a big left again. Pimblett does catch Gordon with the 3rd punch of a combo, and he splits the guard. But there's big swinging exchange where both men land. Gordon does slip; he doesn't actually get dropped; he slips. And to round out the first round, Paddy Pimblett attempts a takedown, fails. Gordon capitalizes by getting on top in a dominant position. So if we just go to the UFC stats, Jared Gordon's accredited with 28 seconds of control time. So we can't put an awful lot into the control time element itself. But for me, the bigger, cleaner, more effective shots were landed by the American Jared Gordon, 10-9. Nothing crazy. We're not talking 10-8s. We're not going 10-10s. Just a standard 10-9 for Jared Gordon. Now, round 2. High left hand lands big for Paddy Pimblett, but Gordon responds with a left and splits a guard of Paddy Pimblett. So those 2 shots kind of cancel each other out. Pimblett does land a good teep kick. Like I said earlier, he likes to throw that teep kick to keep his opponents at range a little bit. But when he's looking to attack, he smothers his own work by getting in too close. He's the much taller guy in there, and he's also, I imagine, got the longer range or longer reach. Sorry, he's got a 73-inch reach advantage to Jared Gordon's 68. Jared Gordon's 5'9", Paddy Pimblett stands at 5'10". So not only has he got the longer reach, but he's also got, an inch in height as well. So he can keep the fight along with those teep kicks, and by not smothering his own work. But I feel that that's what he's really doing, especially in this second round. He sort of waves forward and looks. If that's his game plan, fair enough. But Jared Gordon was good in the clinch in this one, and Paddy Pimblett wasn't able to deal with Jared Gordon too well in the clinch. I think Jared Gordon was a lot stronger than Paddy Pimblett had maybe envisaged. which is why when Paddy Pimblett was wading forward, he was kind of, like I say, smothering his own work by getting too close. Another big exchange between the two men. Gordon gets the better of Pimblett with some good body work. Pimblett answers with a big right hand to the body. Jared Gordon then mixes the martial arts, looking for a takedown, but Pimblett reacts by trying to choke him and take his back. In the clinch, it's 50-50 with Gordon in the dominant position, but on the break, Jared Gordon does also land the biggest shot of the fight, an overhand right, which forces Paddy Pimblett to circle away. This is, like I say, the biggest shot of the fight so far, and what will be the entire fight. He rocks Paddy Pimblett in this one and forces Paddy Pimblett to back up. Remember, Paddy Pimblett has been on the front foot for all of the fight, not just around all of the fight. And this is the first time we've really seen Paddy Pimblett have to back away, force that distance between the two men, and sort of, get his faculties about him. Pimblett does return with a big 1-2 of his own. He tries it 1-2 again, but Gordon, reads it. He reacts with a counter left hook, which lands again on Paddy Pimblett. Paddy, I think, is getting a little bit frustrated. He begins to open up and unload on Gordon, but a lot of it's blocked on the guard of Jared Gordon. A head kick lands, but Gordon answers with yet another left hook. So I've scored this one. This for me was the toughest round to score. It was a good end to the round for Paddy Pimblett, but more than likely for me, it's a 10-9 to Jared Gordon. Although I could see why the judges or somebody could score it for Paddy Pimblett. So for me, I've scored it 10-9 for Jared Gordon, although a 10-9 for Paddy Pimblett is not a bad scorecard at all. So for me, I've got it 2-0 to Jared Gordon, Paddy Pimblett needing a finish in this final round, or 1-1 heading into the final round. Now this final round it's not a good round to watch. Let's remember we're scoring damage first, then duration, but there was almost no damage in this round. Round 3 starts. Gordon spends the first 3 minutes of the round controlling Paddy Pimblett up against the cage in the clinch position. Very low action in round 3. Let me just pull up the stats for round 3. I know we don't judge a fight by stats, but I just want to sort of get home how low action this round was. 3 minutes 53 control time for Jared Gordon. Total strikes landed by both men was 21 apiece. Jared Gordon landed 21 of 21 strikes. He threw 21, he landed 21, but only 4 of those strikes were significant. Paddy Pimblett landed 6 significant strikes in a round. Very, very low action, but a lot of control time for Jared Gordon. It's likely Gordon's round purely based off the control time element because that's what we have to go to. There's no damaging shots in this round, so you have to then go to the duration and the dominance, which is Jared Gordon's. 10-9 Jared Gordon. So my overall scorecard, I scored it 30-27 for Jared Gordon, or 29-28 for Jared Gordon. It's how you scored that second round for me. First round, clear Jared Gordon round. Last round, clear Jared Gordon round. So that's at least 2. So he's at least won the fight. If you score that second round for Jared Gordon, which I think you have to, due to the heaviest shot of the fight being landed by Jared Gordon in that round. The other, the reaction, the counter and the reactions of Jared Gordon were slick in that round. Yes, Pimblett, that second round was Pimblett's best round of the fight for me, but he didn't do enough to win it. So I've scored it 30-27 for Jared Gordon. And that's not how the fight was scored on paper. Like I said, Paddy Pimblett got his hand raised in that one, which I don't think is the right decision. I guess I think it's a bit of a robbery. I didn't even think it was a close fight. Like with John Jones and Dominic Reyes, I can see why you scored it for Reyes. You can see why you might have scored it for Jones. With GSP Johnny Hendricks, I scored it for Hendricks. But I've also seen other people say, you've got to beat the champion in there. With this one, I really can't understand how Paddy Pimblett's been gifted 3 rounds. 2 rounds to 1. It's got to be the first 2 rounds because those first 2 rounds, the third round isn't even close. It's Jared Gordon's round. For me, the first round wasn't close. It's Jared Gordon's round. And for me, it's that second round that's the contentious one. Again, I scored it for Jared Gordon. Let me know in the comments, guys, how you scored it, because I want to be corrected if I'm wrong. I really didn't see how Paddy Pimblett won that fight. I really just can't get into my head how the judges actually scored it for him. But he's the bigger star of the two men, which is maybe why he got the nod. Only time will tell. He obviously faces Bobby Green at UFC 304. That's a tough test for Paddy Pimblett. After this fight, he went on to defeat Tony Ferguson in a pretty one-sided decision. Um, and for Jared Gordon, he went on to lose to Bobby. Well, have a no contest with Bobby Green, beat Mark Madsden, and then arguably controversially again lose to Nasrat Haqparast via decision. The next episode of Rescoring Controversial Decisions will see me score yet another 3-round fight between former welterweight champion Kamaru Usman and the boogeyman of the division, some may say, Khamzat Chimaev. Keep it locked to MMASucka.com. Keep it locked to the MMASucka YouTube channel. That'll be out next week. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll catch you next time as always.